There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to the Star Power Podcast on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss Stargirl on the DC Universe streaming service and CW channel. I'm Dave.
I'm Sean, Fangirl S, and tonight we'll be discussing episode 10 of season 1 of Stargirl.
I can't believe we're there already. Episode 10,
it's crazy.
Brainwave Jr.
I am going to say this because for those of you who are in the know, this week that we're recording this is the week of San Diego Comic-Con. Yep. Which, of course, had to be canceled. And CW apparently was going to have a pretty decent presence. So, when you hear this, you can go because a lot of the different shows that were supposed to be there are doing panels on YouTube, and they'll be recorded. So you can go to comic-con.org for San Diego Comic-Con. They have a Comic-Con at Home section, and it'll lead you to where all the panels are. Now, I don't know if Stargirl had one specifically. I think they were trying because I believe they were supposed to be there because, they always had, their new shows there. So, let's hope. So, check it out.
Stargirl's a hit.
Yeah.
It's a hit. It's a hit. The last, this past episode, Brainwave Jr., was a 9.2 out of 10 on imdb.com.
Nice.
I know. I thought it was great, too. I was a bit crazy, and I started messaging our other co-host, Steve, and Steve.
I was going to say, I will tell you, it was very hard, especially at the end of the episode, not to message you guys.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep it together to keep it for this podcast right here.
A lot of people said it got, what's the word? Well, they had tears in their eyes. It got a little dusty in the room. That was it.
I'll tell you, it got dark. I was like, oh!
Oh my God.
Was not expecting it.
What are you doing to us?
Yeah, that was a total surprise for me. I don't know about the rest of you and anybody who's actually read all this, because I believe that you actually had theory that Henry was going to take over because something was going to happen, super serious to his dad, and he was going to be...
Yeah. In the comics, he's still alive, so doesn't mean he's dead. You don't see a body.
That's true. And what have we learned with all of our shows?
That's right. So. You don't see a body, he's not dead. So there's some speculation, I know we're leaping ahead, that Henry Jr. might have put a little cocoon around himself at the end, but I'm telling you, that ending, wow.
Yes, I concur. All right, so let's start at the beginning.
Sure, that's a good idea. Sorry, as we wipe away the tears. As we said, this is episode 10, Brainwave Jr., as Henry Jr. hones his newfound skills, uncovers secrets from his family's past to make him a difficult decision. Meanwhile, Courtney, Yolanda, Beth, and Rick's latest plan brings him face-to-face with members of the ISA. It sounds like a government, like they check your luggage or something. Finally, tensions between Pat and Barbara force her to revisit her own past, which is very suspicious. I don't know. I know Steve was suspicious. Anyway, Andy Armaganian directed this episode, written by James Dill Robinson.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, yeah. Even where we started, I was in shock. We end up getting, of course, the fallout from the end of last episode. But I'm sorry, I still stand by, they could have totally played off a whole lot of that.
Please, continue. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, Barbara, totally flips out, and what is that? What are you doing? It's whoa, Halloween decoration. Anything, you could have played off the staff. It's not like you said last episode, she wasn't riding it around like Bewitched or something. It was just there, it was lit up, and then she drops it, and it's dark.
Yeah, I know. Why would that shake her up?
Right. And
unless you knew what it was. What is that doing there?
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, that's the common theory. That's something that Steve and I talked about, too. We should talk more, Sean. That the whole thing was a setup at the beginning, to have them both to start out the episode in the diner. because I don't know his name. Sorry, in the diner with Maria, the waitress, who's back, baby. She's back. And ending up, and it was really sweet. It was cute and sweet, and even the waitress, Maria, said that too. Like, oh, isn't that cute? What put them both in the same place? I mean, Pat says he's on the hunt, for old cars, right? And she says she's signing off on her mother's house. But boy, I don't know. And they're both from California. What are they doing there at the same time? We know is Pat's there on a hunt, so he's still doing JSA Stripesy or Stripe business, I would say. So he knows, and if he knows, he brought them back to live there, which we discussed earlier in these episodes, puts his family in danger. He must know, and if she knows too, that would be actually, I think that's a shame. If she knew everything about the past, and when she saw the cosmic staff, it freaked her out because she knew what it was. I'm like, there has to be one innocent person in the show who knows nothing. Not everyone should know everything and have a secret about it. Don't you agree?
Oh my gosh. See, I didn't even think of that with Barbara. Because the way this whole thing went with her reaction, she's like, we're leaving. I'm kicking you out of the house. Pack up your stuff, Courtney. We're gone. It's like, oh, wow, okay. And then all of a sudden, like, as the episode progresses, she's quote unquote investigating Starman, which, first of all, if you were told the situation and you were told that your boss is the guy who killed Starman, why are you doing it on your work computer? At least use your phone. Come on.
I know. Unless she's using her boss's network, which would be dumb too.
And I'm like, no, see, I don't. There's my tinfoil hat. You don't look stuff up. You don't want the boss to know when you're at work because they can look at your computer.
Well, I understand. He kind of figures it out. Go ahead.
But not just that. Then all of a sudden she emails Courtney's dad, and I'm like, what is happening?
That's Curtis, which has to be Sam Curtis, which is an alias.
But now that you said that, now I'm thinking, wait a second. What if? Yeah. And then my mind's like just whirling a whole different way. Because it seems like the only person out of this little 4-person family that is innocent is poor Mike.
I know.
And I'm telling you in the beginning, I wanted to slap that mouth, little smart mouth. But I feel bad for him now because Barbara kicks Pat out and Pat's like, I'm going to go stay in the garage. So I'm thinking, at least sleep on the couch. I don't know. But, okay, he's going to the garage. Mike's like, I'm going with you. And, I mean, this poor kid, we don't exactly know what happened to his mom. And he finally admits, what was it, 2 episodes ago or last episode, that Courtney's his sister. And I think it's probably hard for him because he was an only child. And now he has his family. He seems to really get along with Barbara. And now it's like, great, my whole world's going to come crashing around my ears.
Yeah, well, that's his age group. You know, it's trust versus distrust, I think it is. From Eric Erickson, it's like neo-Freudian. And it's a formative stage, so you really need to latch on something in his age group. And it keeps getting jerked around, so he doesn't know what to believe. We should do the Mike podcast.
And then when he confronts Courtney, I will tell you right there, I did feel like somebody was cutting onions near me. He's like, don't tell me, it doesn't matter, whatever, because I'm not really your brother, right? We're not really family. And I was like, it's like twist that knife and add some salt, because that was rough.
It hurt Courtney because they had managed to build up so much trust between them, and then boom, it's gone.
And can I ask, what was the deal with Jordan and his parents? Just, I'm going to come bring cookies, which, first of all, yeah, that's nice. And I'm going to be rude as hell and talk in a foreign language in front of her. And just stare at her as I say it.
You would think they would know that by now when you don't speak. If they speak English, speak English. Don't communicate to each other in a foreign language. But if we're leaping ahead here, at least that made Barbara suspicious enough to record it. Like Pat's like, geez, I wouldn't have thought to do that.
Right. I do love that he's like keeps turning her monitor though. It's like, let's move this away. At least, X out of there or something. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. That's just rude as hell, especially when you're staring at her and you're saying it. I'm like, yeah, I'd feel like they're definitely saying something about me.
Yeah, I think they're playing the grandparents card. Like, they can do whatever they want because they're grandparents. They've earned it or something, or like whatever.
Yeah, I don't
They're
think so.
old and creaky, so just give it to them because you can't argue with them anyway.
Old and creaky. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And evil. In their case, they're evil. I'm sure everyone knows by now.
Yeah, well, they do figure it out when she has it translate. Now, again, why did it take so long? I mean, I guess they don't have Google Translate wherever they are. Real time kind of thing. But I thought it was interesting that they mentioned the machine. Really? You're just so blasé. What if she happened to take a semester and remembered a few words?
I'm Norwegian.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Anything's possible because we feel like we're not exactly in 2020 in this timeline that's happening.
Well, they're not.
Oh,
that's part of their excuse as GPs, grandparents. They're not in 2020.
They're in 1920? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
we got weird stuff happening.
They crank the phone to make it work. Hello, Mabel?
Can I please have number 3? Anyway.
I know. So we're skipping ahead, but we get a lot of hospital stuff.
We did, and I had like mixed feelings because at first I was kind of excited about what happened in the hospital
because the memory loss.
Yes.
Or something. Oh yeah.
And
I know. I thought that was a whole new beginning. This is something they were going to develop and stuff.
Yes, I was happy because I'm thinking, all right, this is right. Well, Henry Jr. says, well, we lost Mom. She died. And Henry Sr. has no memory of this. But he's like, I know he doesn't remember because he's really hurting. Okay, great. And maybe this was before he kind of started being super douche to his son. So, hey, they can start over too, and Henry Jr. can heal along with Henry Sr.
Yeah.
Until that wasn't happening.
See, I forgot where they're... Henry Jr. leaves because he finds out a few things like, well, I'm going to go back and check out that 1990s technology with the VHS machine and figure out what's going on. Remember how you and I characterized Henry Jr. as a little bit of a Cro-Mag?
Yes.
Yes. This was his shining episode. Actually, he really got to shine in this episode. He did furrow the brow a few times, but otherwise, man, he really brought it. I'm going to get the actor's name for you. Jake Austin Walker as Henry King Jr. I really dug him. I dug him in this episode.
I feel like this was really a redeeming episode. Like we had said previously, like there were moments that Henry could have redeemed himself.
Yeah.
But this one actually had it. I still feel like there was something else he could have said when everything was going down. Like just finally say, I didn't share the picture. I don't know.
Yeah, that's like Barbara. She could flat out say, this man is not your father. But she doesn't. When they're explaining things to her at the beginning, I know we're backtracking a little, and Pat shows her the picture of Starman, or at least the Star Spangled Kitty Starman by then, I would think. And Stripesy, she looks at him the same way her daughter did at the beginning, like Stripesy. And she could have put her finger right on the picture and say, this man is not your father. But she didn't.
Right. She did kind of like dodge and weave a bit.
Yeah, she dodges and weaves around it. She could come right out and say it. I mean, a little later in the episode, she was a little more direct towards the question, but not like maybe 90%, not 100%. But we did find out from all this, back to the hospital talk, that Mary, her brother, is Starman. I was like, well, I didn't know. Was I alive in the 40s? No, I was not. Could I looked it up? Yeah, sure. But I didn't. But Mary was the brother of Starman. So we're like, when things are like starting to weave together at the beginning, we're like, uh-oh, wow. So what the heck? Brainwave was married to the brother of Starman. They were both Pembertons.
And right away, I'm like, that means they're related.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I put that together until we got the Courtney moment later on.
Yeah, because my husband and I were watching it. I look at him, I'm like, that means him and Courtney are related. Oh my God. And he's like, yeah, they are. They're cousins. And we're like, wait, they can't fight now?
If you're like my wife, she goes, you didn't know that? I'm like, BS, lady. I don't know what you're doing.
But yeah, when Senior is like mumbling his thoughts in his sleep, and he's like, last day, last tape. I'm like, what?
Weird. Yeah.
But yeah, when Junior goes back, and apparently there's a hell of a lot of tapes.
Yeah, I know. What were they up to? 3,233 or something like that?
Crazy number. When he watches it, it's like right away, I'm in the same mindset as Junior. holy crap, Jordan killed my mom.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Like, wow. I thought that was awesome.
And
because we see him kill Joey, Joey's father.
I'm sorry, but even after everything was said, I feel like that doesn't seem right.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because when Senior was saying in the video, he didn't specifically say Jordan killed Mary.
Yeah.
But he made it happen. He killed Starman's sister.
Not a big leap.
Right. And I'll never forgive him. Like, because of that is where I still feel like Jordan did it, and that maybe they changed, like changed Henry Sr.'s memory of it somehow.
That's weird.
And that's why he doesn't remember and doesn't say that he's the one who did it until after the memories all come back from the last 10 years, and all of a sudden he's super evil again.
Oh, I had a thought in my head and it just went away because I don't know.
But I thought it was interesting too that, because like I said, Jordan pays Henry Sr. a visit, and all of a sudden it's like, we need to go. We have things to do. I'm so happy you're awake. And all of a sudden the staff shows up. Now, first of all, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just as obnoxious as Courtney was being in the beginning.
Oh God, there's a lot of talk about that. There's two prevailing theories that it didn't occur to me, but the staff, well, I'll elucidate it now. One theory is the staff still has the spirit, or whatever you want to call it, of Ted Knight, its maker, in it. And Ted knew the difference between right and wrong. And Ted and the staff always fought for right. And as the staff was looking at the lineup pictures, like, I got to get this guy. So, I don't know, he might be infused with the spirit of Ted Knight, or essence of Ted still, or in the second train of thought is that it's acting out on Courtney's beliefs subconsciously. Courtney, like she said over and over, she's always like this. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Let's get revenge. Let's get these guys. Let's do it right now, right now, right now. And I guess maybe the staff picked up on that and said, well, I'm going to act on her subconscious. Let's go. So, God, they got 3 episodes left. So we have to decide whether, well, I mean, apparently staff acted on its own somehow, but it's either the spirit of its maker, Ted Knight, or it's subconsciously reading Courtney. And Courtney's the one to go, well, he basically told to go back to bed and patted it when it came up to get her.
Yeah, I know. Like it's a puppy.
Mom says we can't go out.
But yeah, so now, the staff can do so much on its own. It can do a lot of stuff, but
only so much, though.
Yeah, and so now it's frozen. Great.
Yeah, I know.
And in the hands of the bad guy. Totally what we need, because obviously Courtney has powers without it. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
But you have Henry Jr. then seeing them, and he hides. Now, when Henry Sr. felt something, was Jr. able to block him out at that point? Or did Sr. know he was there and it's like...
And let him go?
Yeah.
That's a tough one, because later on, when they're down in the tunnels, Henry goes, my father's close, I can sense him.
So very Star Wars, but...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there was a few Star Wars-like references in this. I am Luke, I'm your father.
Right.
I am evil, get over it.
But because he wasn't immediately using it for, I guess I'd say, evil purposes, was he able to develop it and get stronger faster, maybe?
Junior?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think Henry Sr. should have sussed him out. Like, I know where you are.
Oh,
so like Jurassic Park, where they're hiding behind it, or the velociraptors are creeping around.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could have been like, stay there, Junior, or something,
Yeah,
but that's why
when there's no indication, so maybe he can get into like a Zen moment.
Right, because all of a sudden, like, he heard almost, I'd say like static almost, and then it just went real silent. That's why I was wondering if Junior was able to kind of block him out somehow.
It's a little hard to believe that Icicle would accept his excuse to go, it's nothing. Really? I mean, if you're evil, everything is something. It's nothing. Oh, okay, let's go. I gotta put gas in the car. Yeah, right.
Maybe Icicle's like, well, you know what? He already filled me in. He doesn't remember crap for 10 years. All right, I'm gonna let this slide.
Yeah. So where do we go next? There's Courtney tries to convince the group that Henry's good in the calf. What'd you think of the calf meeting?
I totally get what's happening, and I'll tell you, Rick has suddenly been the one that's like, oh, let's turn up the jerk factor.
I know, that seems to be his role. It gets a little obnoxious and a little old.
And I totally get where it was going, because obviously at this point, we need everybody on board, and I understand Rick and Yolanda being super ticked. I was surprised Beth was the one that's like, hey, listen.
She's always like that, though.
I mean, she's the one who's totally even keel, but the fact that she kind of stood her ground and put that voice out there.
She has no powers, but she has courage, which is amazing because she's so subservient to her parents in the past. Like, I'll make you lunch today. You know, when she does, they're like, what the hell's going on? We haven't seen them either, so I don't know. I'm sure they'll be back, but I guess they're not as important as we thought they were, because I always thought there was something strange about the father.
I'm still wondering what's going to happen with them.
Well, okay, so we're going back to the cap, and Rick is being a dick.
Yeah, there's no two ways there.
Yeah, and Junior decides to give him a plate full of food, or a tray full of food, and sends him flying. Now, I like how he gets up and he's got like ketchup or sauce all over him, whatever it is.
When he's like, let's go, stand up. And Junior's like, sit down.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That won't bring any attention to that little group there, because you know somebody's going to go, why is Henry Jr. sitting with those losers?
Yeah. Well, you could see the kids in the background looking at him. And it just got worse, too, once they started acting out.
Right.
Aside from Hothead Rick and Henry defending himself, it was a great Yolanda moment because, not first of all, but she says, we're done as friends. We're not friends anymore, because she didn't like Henry coming back. But we all know, because she admitted subconsciously that she loved him, or loves him.
Right.
But she's the only reason why I'm doing this is to cover your back, because I know you're going to go anyway. That's a team member.
Yeah, you can hate me later. Just make sure we're okay.
We had skipped ahead to the part where Henry calls out to Courtney across the street, because she had visited Mike at the garage, and Mike went to his pensionate 9 or 10-year-old, maybe 11.
Yeah, I have no idea how old he's supposed to be at this point either.
I know. That's his superpower. So when she leaves, she's like, he's calling out to her. And she's like, what the hell? And looking around everywhere, and there he is across the street and like waving. That's like it's not the funniest scene in this show, almost in the movie, because it's had a very much like a movie quality to it. It's based on, especially the fight scene at the end.
Yes.
And so they go over and touch, and he puts his hand on her, touchy-feely guy. That's not a very 2020 type of deal. And all of a sudden, she feels or sees everything that's in his head, because she gets the upload. I called it in my notes. She's like, wow, I could see everything you're thinking. So I was thinking, so that means they are related, right? I mean, did you get that vibe from that they are related?
See, I was just thinking that he got really strong because he doesn't know how to control everything. And that's why better than killing somebody with his mind, but like he's able to project his thought. But like she immediately like hugs him after everything.
I know, we're cousins.
And I'm thinking, didn't he just put a bunch of information in your head and you like kind of freaked out seconds ago?
That's her takeaway. We're cousins.
Yay, we're related. Whatever works for you, Courtney.
Yeah. Well, to me, that was confirmation that they are related. I don't know if he could upload like that to everybody that he touches. Maybe. We haven't seen any proof of it, but and she got it. So I'm like, oh well, to me that was confirmation that they are related.
I'll say yes. I'm not saying it was confirmation, but I don't know that. Like maybe that's why their powers were able to, or not powers, like he was able to do something without hurting her, I guess. I don't know. Now let's talk about the crazy underground.
Oh yeah, that's where they had to go. You know, another funny moment. Once they finally get down under there, Beth's the first one to say, I've been here before, you guys go ahead.
And I also want to say, okay, yeah, Beth, you've been down there, and your goggles kind of went crazy. Why? Wouldn't the goggles tell her ahead of time, there's something happening, I'm not going to be able to help? Like, why were you silent this whole time?
Just a kid. Huh.
The goggle, like Dr. Midnight's just a kid? He's an adult that's loaded in there. He was spewing left and right, all sorts of information before, and now it's like, oh, I'm not going to say nothing. So we get down, and it's like, oh, static. Sorry, can't help. I was irritated.
Oh, yeah?
It's like, ah!
She looks so funny in that uniform. She's so petite. So anyway, they're creeping around, and Courtney says, let's split up, and like, Yolanda's like, split up? What are you, crazy? Well, I'm going to take Henry. You guys go that way. She says, like, no way, I'm not leaving you alone with Henry. So there's two ways to take that. She doesn't trust Henry. Why would she? And she still, even though she's, here's the air quotes, not friends with Courtney anymore, she really is. She's this poor girl. She still loves Henry Jr. and of course she's still friends with Courtney. Mm-hmm. And that's why she wants to have both of their backs as they go down there. It's not like, you guys can't do it on your own, you need me. It's like, I like you both. At least that was my take on it.
Yeah, I was really feeling like Yolanda was like, all right, I have to be here. Yeah, for both of them. Because something is bound to happen. And
well, she has an investment in both of them, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm like the glue or something.
Yeah, so that's cool. I really like her in her role, too. So they split up, and Rick and Beth go off someplace. I like Beth's nervous, and she's like, this whole tunnel thing is like freaking her out. Been down here before. But for the first time she heard a growl, she freaked out and ran the other direction. Now she's like, I can't believe we're doing this. And the other go in the other direction, and we'll concentrate on Yolanda or Wildcat, Henry, and Courtney now. And they're creeping along. First of all, the goggles don't work, and there's no cosmic staff, but they're still going ahead. But that's courage, baby. And they find the lair, and there's Henry Sr. strapped to a table. He's in uniform because if you're going to experiment on him, you might as well put his old clothes on.
Obviously.
The green leather. Like, I don't know who just robed him, but whatever. And Ito's working on him, and he's got his brain all hooked up, and he's got a few of his minions hanging around and stuff. And the last thing I thought as they were creeping around was that Cindy would see them from her cell. Like, of course she did. That's how amateurish this new JSA is. They don't expect cameras or sensor devices or trip alarms or anything like that. But they managed to make it all the way in there anyway. And she's like, Dad! She's right behind you, Dad!
Let me kill her!
I know, that was one of the funniest things, too. Let me out, I want to do it, oh, please!
How many times are they moving her cell, first of all? Because she's in a different area, and...
No, she's in the same area. She's where she can overlook the lab.
Moved.
No, she can overlook the lab. The only thing they did was shut her peephole, which apparently is now open, conveniently.
Well, and also, how are these tunnels moving? Because if they came from Cindy's house, why didn't they all pass Solomon Grundy?
They didn't go down through Cindy's house, though.
Yeah, they did, because they were out in front and they seen that it was sold. Oh, wait, you know what? I mean, they didn't say they went through there, but I thought that was the only way that they knew how to get through. Because they didn't know it was on...
Where they dragged Cindy? Where they dragged Cindy to hell? Nope, I don't think that's the way. And it wasn't through Jordan's office either. To tell you the truth, I don't know how they figured that out. How did Beth know where the tunnels were? That's how she got through there. I think Beth took them the way she took them the time before when she was down there.
And that was through Cindy's house. That's why.
Yeah, but they weren't at Cindy's house.
They were outside of it because they seen the for sale sign.
Did they?
Because I remember.
I thought that was the episode before.
Because I remember when Cindy went down through the tunnel because she got mad, she wanted to go talk to her dad. She passes Grundy's cell.
Yep.
It's like, stop growling.
Yeah, but they didn't pass Grundy's cell on the way in.
Exactly. Which I'm like, what is happening? But they came down the same steps that Beth came down before.
I don't think they did.
That's why I'm like, this
I'm
going
to have to watch it again and figure out how they got down there. Unless it's one of those TV things where they just skip ahead. Skip ahead, kids. Let's go ahead. We're moving the plot along. Unless
somebody else out there knows what it was, where they went in, you can let us know at contact us at fangirlzone.com.
So, and this is at the same time, this is where the grandparents visit. The kids are down there, the grandparents are visiting and talking Norwegian, and Barbara decides to record it. But anyway, Beth and Rick find Grundy while Ito is working on Henry Sr. Cindy spots him. Ito calls him the goon, and there's a freaking melee. I mean, it just goes crazy. These goons, or zombies, or whatever you want to call them, they walk like zombies. They're like, Rrr. They're not exactly quick and do karate stuff. They just have...
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. Yeah. I don't think we've ever seen that much. He didn't snap his fingers, but all of a sudden they're pouring out of every freaking orifice in that lab.
I think they're dead, because why else would he have wanted...
Yeah, I know. I think they're just reanimated somehow. Yeah. I think he said to Cindy once, you know how much work it takes to put into these guys?
Right. It's like 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks worth down the drain. God damn it.
So I think it's That's weird. It's like, where were they all hiding at? They're just like hanging out in a hallway.
Yeah, I know. It's like the Borg. They're just in their little cell thing there, regenerating and stuff, waiting to get the call.
Like, must move now. Okay.
Yeah, either that or they have a back room. They're all playing cards. I pictured like Yellowstone, where all the guys. I don't know who watches Yellowstone, but all the handlers and cowhands, they have a barracks. And they all sit and play cards, drink whiskey, and have their boots up on a table. And then the next thing you know, the light goes off. And in this case, the goons come out like, oh, damn, we have to do something now. Hurry up. Well, it's as fast as we go. But they came out of nowhere. And there was somebody on the internet, it might have been YouTube, that said this fight, I called it a melee in my notes, exclamation point, had a real cinematic quality to it because it was very well coordinated and everyone got their moments. Maybe Henry, least of all, he was like throwing force beams. He'd stick out his hand, the guys would fly. And Yolanda, she was leaping about. I mean, I wish we had saw more of her, but she really had some wildcat moments where we was flying from thing to thing. Maybe the wire work wasn't that great, but Courtney's gymnastics was fantastic. I don't know who the girl was as a stunt double, because whenever she's doing that with the spear she just picked off the wall, that was fantastic. She had the guy, and she did like double flips. She was like on the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Gymnastics. And she just flips off and does a dismount and comes out behind a guy and whack. And they're whacking these guys, too. I guess it's a good thing they're undead because these guys are getting sliced, and Yolanda's like hacking her way through. You could hear it, too. It's like...
Sound effects are some
I know.
best things that these shows do.
You don't have a conscience, I guess, when you're slicing through these guys left and right. So they must know they're zombies or something.
I just thought it was weird, though, that they had Courtney's staff, like...
in a cage?
In a cage,
hanging up there.
Just chained up.
Prisoner.
We're going to put it up here so nobody touches it.
I know.
Okay.
It won't penetrate our sanctum of doom anyway. Well, they've seen it act out on its own, but you're probably better off putting it in a locked box or something like Cindy's in. But no. And in another great Wildcat moment, she sees it hanging up there as she's... What is that, a Vegomatic? They used to slice and dice everything. She's Vegomaticing her way through all those dopes, and she jumps up there and hacks it free. And Ito's just about, he has a great sword work. He's about to give it to Courtney, and it was a little clumsy, but Wildcat gets the staff to Courtney as he's about to chop her down, and it still was a great moment, like ding, and she jumps up and she looks at him and she goes, Snapdragon. Which was hilarious. Snapdragon. Snapdragon is a Marvel character, a lesser character. I don't know if they were dissing that character or not, but it was still funny because she gets the guy's name wrong. Hey, Snapdragon. He's like, Dragon King.
Like, get it right.
Oh my God. That was like the previous episode. He prefers to be called Dr. Ito because they call him Dragon King. Oh, please, Dr. Ito. But this time he's like, Dragon King.
It's like, how dare you disrespect me?
I know. So it was a great fight and a big moment when Courtney gives him a backhanded swipe with the cosmic staff. He loses his mask.
Oh my gosh. That was not what I was expecting.
Oh my God. And he gets up and he gives that like Dragon King, Lizard King, I don't know, Snapdragon, like, rah. This is one of the moments we were waiting for. Please let us see this guy without his mask.
Yes.
He was very reptilian. He had little sharp teeth, too, like, wow. And I thought this was the funniest moment, too, because both girls, Yolanda and Courtney, are standing there, and he goes, rah, and they go, ah!
Yeah, the very girly scream happened.
I know. Would have freaked me out, too. So she uses the staff to give a good zap.
Now, we don't know if he can regenerate the way his daughter can.
Oh, he's fine. He just got a zap, that's all. It didn't go through him, so we know he's alive. Like a good lizard.
And you had, in all of this happening, Henry get to his dad and release his dad. And he's like, come on, we can go. And he's like, no, they got to you. What did he say? They didn't fix you. They messed you up or something. And then Henry Sr.'s like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. It's like dripping evil at that moment.
Yeah.
And Rick gets it. Usually on TV, they're like, hey, Dad, what are you talking about? It's like, uh-oh, we're screwed. Let's get out of here.
Right. We gotta go. Yep, abort mission.
Yeah.
And as they're running back, they meet up with Rick and Beth because Rick decided, I'm going to spend all this time trying to get to Solomon Grundy. But I'm sorry, as far as we had seen, Rick didn't even bother trying to turn the lock.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say Rick was unhinged because that would be a bad pun when he was trying to rip off a door. But he is. Like, what are you doing, man? Even Beth knows. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We get 15 minutes, clock's ticking. We're supposed to meet up with our pals. He goes, this is the guy that killed my parents. Like, okay, I get that. And he's got super strength, but I guess it's not that strong. I used to think that Hourman had, like, Superman-like strength. But I guess he doesn't, because if he has Superman strength, that door's coming off.
Yeah, it's like, I was surprised that he just kind of bent it a little. Although I'm still wondering on your theory if Grundy's going to get out and save Courtney somehow.
I know, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope it's weakened enough that he starts stumbling around. She starts screaming, and he goes over and rips off her door, and she has, like, a moment with him. Like 3 episodes left. I hope it happens in the next one, really. It should, the way things are going now. Because we had a couple of slow-ish episodes, but not this one.
This was pretty good. And we kind of talked about the end already, and I was still surprised. I'm still going to say it. Because they end up down, I don't know, I guess a wrong way. They're stuck by gates.
The bars, there are bars there.
Yeah, Rick.
I know, they didn't go back the way they came, apparently.
Rick opens them. 2 of them get through? 3 of them get through.
Beth goes first.
Yeah. Well, Beth is the one with no powers.
Nothing.
Yeah, I definitely have to push her through.
Except her politeness.
And her ability to talk your ear off.
Yeah, I guess Yolanda goes next or something. And then
Rick.
Brainwave shows up and he starts sealing stuff off.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So Henry Jr. helped. Rick goes, a little help here. I'm like, wow, awesome. You guys are growing up. And they get it through, and then Henry throws Courtney through the bars.
Right, because she's like, no, you go. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to go over like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
So I was just surprised with the confrontation, though, still. And then, like I said earlier, how Senior's like, no, it wasn't Icicle, it was me. And I really thought at that moment, Junior was going to have, like, that total freak out moment and, I don't know, like, disintegrate his father.
He tried. Well, his father said he sensed how strong he is, and that was the Darth Vader moment where he said, I can train you. Come to the dark side, basically.
And, jeez, I had that moment with everybody else because you have Junior telling Yolanda he's sorry for what happened and telling Courtney there are good people.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what? And even Rick, when the ceiling comes down, is like, what?
I know.
It's like, maybe Rick is going to not be so jerk face next week. I don't know.
Rick the dick.
Maybe he'll dial it back because he's seen what happened and he knows now what they're actually up against.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it did get dusty in my room too. Junior versus Senior with all that going on. And then, well, like we say, he brings the ceiling down on him. If you don't see a body in TV, that means they're not dead. There's 2 ways of thinking about this. It was a great death. That's a great death. I mean, he didn't have a lot going on for him, but he emptied a lot. And you're like, yeah, baby, we love you. And then, boom, he's dead. Like, oh, my God, that hurts. It hurts more when you're dead. You bring him back and like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Because I felt like, okay, maybe the kids are going to kind of get what they need. Like the levels of help that they need. And then that happened. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking at the end, so why didn't Henry Sr. drop his brainwave shield and go after the kids? There was some thought on the internet that, like, well, enough's enough. He killed his son, so he can walk back from that. That's TV rules. Or, I was thinking, if he dropped his shield, he's going to get Cosmic Staff Blast. I mean, right away.
Right.
And he'd have to deal with a lightning quick attack from Wildcat. And plus, Rick, if you still have an hour left, who knows how much time can pass by, he's going to charge too. So how can you withstand a Cosmic Staff Blast, Our Man, and Yolanda at the same time? At least that's the way I saw it, is to leave up the brainwave wall.
And honestly, I'm still feeling like Ito did something so that if he took it down in that moment, everything that just happened between him and his son would hit him. So
I don't know. He's pretty evil.
But we'll find out. You never know. Maybe something will crack and he'll just lose it.
Have you seen the preview for next week?
I seen a little bit of it, and I was like, wait a second, somebody's coming back.
These things are only 20 seconds long, and if you don't want to listen to it, skip ahead on the podcast. But I have a tinfoil hat theory.
Let us don our tinfoil hats.
Yes, please. Everyone sit down and get out the aluminum foil. I like Maria, the waitress, and she's been in 2 episodes. They went from calling her credit. The beginning was waitress. But in the second episode, she was Maria. And in the next episode, she's Maria. And we saw a glimpse of the Shining Knight. I just got a feeling he's going to come to her rescue. They're going to give her a credit and a name. She's going to have something to do with it. And on top of that, Pat was always saying about the 7 soldiers of which the Shining Knight was a member. Who's Justin, is the janitor at the high school, by the way. I wonder where those guys are. Well, we know where at least Justin is. Apparently, he's going to make a comeback in that episode, which was pretty exciting. On the heels of this episode, it was pretty damn exciting. How would you rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, I would definitely say, I'd say 9.5.
Yeah, okay.
I can't go all the way to 10.
I know. You got to leave a little room because you never know. With 3 left, there might be something even better. We still have the question of who's really the dad. I mean, that's not action-packed at all, but it makes a difference.
Right.
And they give a hint at the dad, and I've seen that actor before, and I just can't place who he is, so I'll have to get his name on imdb.com.
Yeah, I want
but he looks like
from Melrose Place or something like that.
Really? Yeah, I know. He's a familiar face. Like, when he opens his teeth up, you expect to see that little sparkle diamond. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know how we feel. We want to know what you feel, and any other tinfoil hat theories you might have, or anything that we missed, if you caught an Easter egg that we didn't. Shoot us an email at contactus@fangirlzone.com. Let us know. Love to share your thoughts on air. And of course, while you're at it, if you can rate and review us on iTunes and every other platform you find us on, because good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. And of course, while you're on the interwebs, check out www.fangirlzone.com, and you can see all our contact information there as well. And we're working on putting up new content constantly. Tell your friends about this show, because this is really good. And I was not sure myself. And then after watching the first episode, I'm like, okay. And I think by now I'm like, oh my gosh, I need more. So
yeah, we went from cute to awesome.
Yeah, so I think you definitely should hook your friends. I mean, come on. They're in quarantine. They can catch up. It's only 10 episodes.
Yeah, I know.
We, of course, hope you're enjoying the podcast, so let us know. And for this episode of the Star Power Podcast, I am Sean Fangirl.
This is Dave saying goodbye, and I don't know, I think there's a damsel in distress, maybe not a princess, although I think she is. I like Maria, the waitress. She's gone from just a waitress to Maria, and if all the hints and part of the teaser for next week is true and the Shining Knight reappears, I'm like, she's the perfect damsel in distress. Why give her a little role if she's not going to use it? I want to see, call me romantic, I want to see the both of them together. Come on, Shining Knight, rescue Maria.
And until next time.